Hello everyone, good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing okay. Welcome here on another transformational talks on Tuesday. Every Tuesday I do a series of talks about topics that I cover with my one-to-one clients in the program Purpose into Power, where I help specifically female leaders of social impact driven businesses, to help them to become a better leader in the organization and to help the organization to become even bigger in the market. So today I'm going to talk to you about the top 3 tips on how you can monetize your corporate social responsibility. And before I do that, for the people who don't know me, watch this on replay. My name is Mirta, I'm a female entrepreneur and I help fellow female leaders to not only strengthen their position internally, but also to help them to reconnect with themselves better so they are becoming better leaders for their business or organization. Most people I work with are CEO or leaders of an impact-driven business. So that means like business with a social element. I'm going to talk a little bit about definitions in a bit. What I do for those leaders is I help them on soul level to reconnect with themselves again, on spirit level to help them elevate their mindset and create stronger leadership skills. And the third one is I help them on strategy. So how can you strategize your business or organization even better to create even more impact in society. So today we're going to talk about the difference, first of all, the difference between a functional business and an impact-driven business. And this video is specifically for CEOs and leaders who are working at medium to large or corporate organizations, such as an NGO, so a non-governmental organization, or social enterprise, or a social business in general. Now, we're going to start with the definitions. So we have 3 definitions, which I want to cover now to give you the context of what we are talking about today. So I call them like the 3 types of businesses that I see in the market and how I divide them. The first one is a functional business. So that is a business that is mostly money driven, has no social purpose whatsoever, is really focused on creating revenues. So there are a lot of businesses that are like that, like the e-commerce business, for example, or the automotive industry, or like really functional product driven businesses. So that's the one I see on the left. So if you have a line, so try it on the left. So the one on the right, so the opposite, is the charity organization. So organizations like foundations, like organizations that are working in third-aid countries, for example, running all kinds of beautiful programs. But the purpose of their organization is to create impact. So for me, those 2 are very like the opposites. Yeah, for everyone it's the opposite. And the one that I love to talk to you about is the one that I put in the middle, and I call it impact-driven business. Now, what do I mean by that? I strongly believe that even if you are a charity, you also should focus on the organizational and the business part of things, because you need money to create more impact. And so how can you combine that business element with your purpose element? And I've seen so many NGOs, for example, last year I did a market research under a lot of big corporate NGOs, and they all find it very difficult, and that's like a cultural thing, to monetize, to leverage their corporate social responsibility. So to monetize their impact for the purpose of creating money. And the reason why they find that so difficult is because they feel like it's not genuine when they do that. And I really believe that if you want to create the impact that you want with your business and you want to take it even to the next level, then sometimes you should wear your business hat and approach it from there. I'm going to give you an example of how I did this for an organization in Holland. And that will give you some insights in how you can approach this topic from a different angle. And that's what I really love to do, to give you a different perspective, to give you food for thought. And these videos are just inspirational, and I'm going to share like based on my personal and professional experience, of course. If you do want to have a talk about it, because it's very specific, of course, it's very tailored business, then I would love to have a conversation with you. So I help organizations and leaders to design and to strategize their corporate social responsibility in the organization. So that is one part of the things that I'm doing. So, okay, I'm going to give you an example of a social responsibility department. I call it department that I built 12 years ago already. And that was for a commercial party. So I'm going to give you this example to show you how you can be a functional business and how you can add a corporate social responsibility element that is going to massively increase your market position and your branding identity as well. So I used to work for a professional football organization, and this professional football organization at the time, so we're talking about, let me think, wow, 2009, I think, a long time ago. In that time, what happened in nationally, in Holland, was that football clubs, like the sport in general, became more aware of their social position. So their role in society, because sports, and the same for music and culture and all those beautiful impact-driven but yet functional businesses create an impact on society that is really big. And what happened in 2009 is that all the professional football organizations started to investigate their own role, and I did like a research for them how to monetize their social sponsoring for the benefit of the projects that we were doing for society. So when I did that research for them, it was really valuable to talk to all the stakeholders, for example, involved, from municipalities to businesses to the own internal organization. And the bigger mission was to help different audiences that were part of their support system, that had a vulnerable position in society. For example, kids that couldn't learn really well, disabled people, like really old people who are like sick and couldn't get better. So there were like low-income families. So there were a lot of different audiences that would benefit from the business football. So how can you leverage your own corporate social responsibility for the purpose of helping those people, but also for the purpose of creating a stronger identity and position in the local market? So when I did this investigation, one of the things that I found out is that a lot of parties that normally wouldn't invest in functional businesses, so in commercial sponsoring for this example, but they were interested in sponsoring social projects, so impact projects. So that's where you could say that a lot of football clubs created like a charity for that, and I didn't do that. I didn't believe in that back then, because I really felt it was two different things that could really have a big synergy together. So when you go back to the line, you had like the functional club, and you could have like the charity club, and we decided to build something in between. So we used the football as a tool to manifest our social responsibility. So what I did is I created upfront, I created these rules basically, like what are our angles? So what are the do's and don'ts? And there's a lot of research that was upfront, but I'm giving you the short version. So what do we see? What is the end goal? And how can we design the process in a way that the stakeholders will adapt it, and how can we from there create like shared value projects. So the reason why I say like design the process is because that is like the first tip that I'm going to give is not to focus on the outcome, on the project side. I saw a lot of other football clubs doing that, and their department was really different. I won an award with this strategy, like with how I designed this, and still 12 years later it's been used as an example of a really strong corporate social responsibility model. So what I did is I didn't focus on the outcome on the project side first. I focused on the process, because whenever something is new, and you might find yourself in a situation in your organization where you have like this vision, or you see something that you want to change, that it's the first step is to create awareness in the organization, to create supporters in the organization with you to do that. And whenever something is new, when you are in a position where you are in, you most likely are a visionary as well, or you look more in the long term, but not everyone does that. So my first tip is to focus on the process first and map out the things that are needed to create, to design your idea in the organization. That sounds maybe a little bit vague, but this is the best way I can describe it. It's like a stepping stone for you that enables you to do and to implement all the things in a later stage. So for me, in that time, it took me 2 years, because it was so new in the market, in the organization. So I had to take a lot of steps before I was able to launch it in the organization. And I still remember the day that the president of that time, he wasn't, in the beginning, his focus was different. After 2 years, I still remember it. I was driving in my car, and there was a radio interview with him. And he was telling on that interview that they also had like this social side, and I called it Paxful United. And I was like sitting in the car like, yes, because it took me 2 years. And that is something, if you are visionary, if you believe it, it doesn't automatically mean that you can implement and manifest it immediately, right? Sometimes things take time, and a lot of time. So the second tip that I wanted to give you is focus on expanding perspectives. What do I mean by that? So this president, as an example, I needed to expand his perspective to bring him on board in what I saw. But his interest for the topic is different than it was for me, for example, or for other people. So I had to give him insights in how it could be beneficial for the organization, for the football organization. And to keep it very simple, how is it going to generate money? So by me preparing the whole process and preparing the whole policy, so what we're going to do, I could approach some big parties like health insurance companies, municipalities, I don't know the English term, but the organizations that build like houses for lower income people. And all those parties were super interested in working with us, because we had a plan, we had the policy, we had the strategy, and we had like a one-to-one connection with their desired audience. So we could do tailored projects, and by giving those parties access to our network and to make use of the football identity, like it's a very attractive a product. I could ask those parties, I could say, well, we can work together, but it will cost you X amount, depending on like the level of partnerships that we were going to be on. So to keep it short, within the first year we launched, I raised more than $500,000 on social sponsoring every season, recurring. And that was only the beginning. So we started doing projects together with like really big health organizations. We helped like 5,000 people. We created like a cooking book, for example, to help children to learn how to eat more healthy. So I interviewed all the players. We photographed them in a really funny way, and they shared their favorite dishes. And so we created a lot of different side projects within those partnerships. So that is my third tip. Always focus on the shared value, because this partner, for example, the health insurance had like they were really focused on helping people to eat better, to eat more healthy, to exercise more. So we could do like tailored projects with them in exchange for exposure. And there was like there was a shared value. So those are the 3 tips that I wanted to give you today. And if you have any questions about that, please do reach out. I can tell a lot more. I have a lot more examples of assignments that I did this for. Like I guided municipalities in this change and the leaders that were there. So to design the change, basically, but also to create this really authentic strategy that fits you and your organization. And in the end, I believe that everything from a place of authenticity always works best. And it might take a little bit longer to get everything set and done, but in the end, it will be so much more sustainable. I'm really convinced. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and give me some feedback if you want, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.